Hey family, before we dive into today's video, I'd really appreciate your support. Subscribing is one of the best ways to help us out. It's quick, free, and keeps the awesome content coming. Every listen, like, and share truly means a lot. Let's keep this channel growing. Thank you so much. My girlfriend's daughter falsely accused my son of SA and destroyed his life. But now the truth is out, but it is too late for him. Hey Reddit, first time posting here, and honestly, this isn't easy. Never thought I'd be writing something like this, but I've been sitting on it for a while, and I just can't hold it in anymore. I don't really use Reddit much, mostly just lurk for random stuff, but I need to get this off my chest. So, I'm a 39-year-old male single dad. My son Dylan, male, is 17 now. Smart kid, bit on the quiet side, but good heart. Me and him, we've always been close, like real close. It's just been the two of us for a long time. His mom passed away when he was 5. Sudden illness, nothing anyone saw coming. One day, she had a bad cough. Next thing we knew, she was gone. It hit us both hard, but Dylan was too young to really understand it all. He doesn't ask much about her now. I work a pretty normal job, nothing fancy. Pay the bills, put food on the table, and make sure Dylan's got what he needs. We've had some rough patches, especially when he was around 13. He started pushing back a little, but we figured it out. He's never been the party type or whatever. Mostly keeps to himself. Draws sometimes. Big into computers and coding stuff I don't understand. His room looks like a NASA lab exploded in there. Cables, monitors, lights blinking for no reason. Anyway, about a year and a half ago, I met this woman, Sarah, female, 36. We met at a friend's BBQ. She had this kind of sarcastic, chill energy. I liked it. She made fun of my busted lawn chair, and I made fun of her weird sandals. That's how it started. We hit it off, started seeing each other regularly. She had a daughter, Mia, female, who was 15 at the time. Dylan was 16 then. I didn't meet Mia right away, and honestly, I wasn't pushing for it. Kids are weird about new people dating their parents. But after like 3 or 4 months of us dating, she started bringing Mia around. First, just little things. Lunch, parks, casual hangouts. I didn't want to force Dylan to be all buddy-buddy with her, but he was polite. Didn't say much, just nodded. Kept to himself like always. Mia was different. Not saying that in a mean way, just like she had this energy that bounced between bratty and charming real fast. She'd be all giggly one minute, then glaring like you insulted her cat the next. At first, I figured, yeah, just normal teenage girl stuff. But even then, there was something off. She had this way of taking up the space, like she expected everyone to revolve around her. After about 8 months of dating, things were feeling pretty good with Sarah. She was spending a lot of time at my place. We were sleeping over at each other's houses so often. It was like we basically lived together anyway. Then her lease came up, and we figured, screw it, let's just move in together. Dylan didn't say much when I brought it up. Just kind of looked at me, shrugged, said, sure. But I could tell something about it didn't sit great with him. I thought it was just him not liking change. He hates new stuff. He even gets weird when I rearrange the living room. So, they move in. Everything's okay at first. Awkward, but that's expected, right? For people under one roof. Me, Sarah, Dylan, and Mia. I tried to set boundaries and keep things smooth. We all had our own rooms. We had a schedule for chores and all that. Dylan had school, was working on some online internship thing for a software company. Mia had school too, but she was on her phone 90% of the time. And that's when I started. Noticing stuff, Mia would always find a reason to be around Dylan. Like too often, he'd be sitting on the couch, headphones in, and she'd sit next to him, asking if he wanted snacks, or trying to peek at whatever he was watching. She'd pop into his room saying dumb things like, "Do you know where my charger is?" Or "I was just looking for my hoodie." Mind you, her hoodie wasn't even in there. One time I walked by, and she was literally sitting on his bed while he was trying to type something for school. Dylan started getting quieter. Not in the normal way. This was different, like avoiding being home. He'd stay late at the library, even though I knew damn well he had Wi-Fi in his room. He started volunteering too, run errands, which for a teenage boy is like red alert, weird, what 17-year-old asks to go to the grocery store twice in a week. So, I sat him down one night, just us. We were walking the dog, and I said, "Hey man, you good? You've been kinda weird lately." He hesitated for a bit, then said, "I don't like being around Mia too much. I don't know, makes me uncomfortable." That hit me kinda hard. I asked what he meant, and he just shook his head. "She's always staring, always trying to talk to me when I'm doing stuff. Sometimes she tries to touch my arm or my hair. It's weird." I didn't really know how to respond at first. What do you say when your girlfriend's daughter is making your son uncomfortable under your own roof? I just told him, "Okay, thanks for telling me. I'll keep an eye on it." Later that night, I brought it up to Sarah. Tried to ease into it. I said something like, "Hey, I think Mia's got a little crush on Dylan. Might be a good idea to have a talk with her." She laughed, straight up laughed, and said, "They're teenagers. It's awkward. She probably sees him like an older brother." Should have pushed harder. I should have been more serious about it, but I let it go. I figured maybe I was overreacting, but then Mia started being passive-aggressive. If Dylan didn't respond to her, she'd roll her eyes and call him rude or weird. One time, she flat out told Sarah, "I don't like how he ignores me. He thinks he's better than everyone." I started seeing it clearer. She didn't like being ignored. She liked the attention and didn't know how to handle not getting it. That's when I started regretting this whole moving situation. By the time we hit the 6-month mark of all of us living together, things were tense. Dylan kept to himself more and more. He'd eat in his room. Mia would stomp around when she didn't get her way. Sarah was always caught in the middle and didn't want to discipline her kid. I tried to keep the peace, but something was clearly brewing. Underneath, I didn't know it yet, but things were about to get worse. Way worse. Alright, so I don't even know how to start this part without getting pissed off again. This is when everything flipped. One day, I'm just worrying about bills, and if Dylan's got enough clean hoodies, and the next, I'm watching my whole life go sideways because of something I never in a million years thought I'd be dealing with. So, like I said, things at home were tense. Dylan had started completely avoiding me. He'd text me from his room to ask if she was in the kitchen before coming out to eat. That's how bad it got. She'd still make comments about him not being friendly or that he was mean. But Dylan wasn't doing anything except trying to get through the day without her all up in his space. Then one afternoon, I get home from work and something just feels off. House is too quiet. No Mia blasting TikToks, no Sarah. I check my phone, nothing. I figured maybe they went out or had errands or whatever. So, I go about my usual, take the dog out, heat up leftovers, call Dylan to come eat. He comes downstairs, dragging his feet, dark circles under his eyes like he's barely slept. I ask what's up, and he just sighed and says, "I think I pissed Mia off." I go, "What happened now?" He rubs the back of his neck, kind of annoyed. She walked into my room while I was on FaceTime with her friend. Saw us laughing, lost it, started calling me a creep, said I was gross, totally flipped. I blinked. "Wait, what? Why?" He shrugs, trying to play it off, but clearly annoyed. "I don't know, man. She's been weird lately, right?" She kept saying I was ignoring her. Now I guess I'm disgusting for talking to her friend. I told her to chill and leave the room. That's all that happened. He didn't look scared, just exhausted, like he was done dealing with the drama. I told him I'd talk to Sarah about it. Honestly, I figured Mia was just having another one of her moody days, maybe jealous, maybe feeling ignored. I didn't realize at the time how far she'd actually take it. But the next morning, everything exploded. I get a call while I'm on my way to work. It's from a number I don't know. It's the school. They're asking if I can come in immediately. Something's happened with Dylan, and they won't give details over the phone. My stomach sinks. I call Dylan. He doesn't answer. I whip the car around and fly back to the house, and I already know something bad's happened before I even open the front door. Dylan's sitting on the floor of the hallway, his back against the wall, eyes red, phone on the ground next to him. I ask him what's going on, and he just mumbles, saying I did something to Mia. Everything kind of froze after that. Turns out Mia went straight to her mom and told her Dylan touched her. Yeah, just like that. Said he made her uncomfortable, that he'd been doing stuff behind closed doors, that he tried to touch her when no one was around. She claimed she didn't want to say anything before, but she couldn't stay quiet anymore. Sarah believed her instantly. No questions, no hesitation. Packed the bag and left with Mia to go stay with her mom. Didn't even call me, just gone. School got involved right away, because the accusation came from a student and involved another student. Even though it happened off school grounds, they still acted like it was their job to handle it. Dylan got suspended pending investigation. Some guidance counselor, who barely knew him, asked if he felt guilty or wanted to confess, like he was some criminal already. I called Sarah like 5 times that day. She didn't answer once, not even a text back. I left voicemails.com ones at first, then not so calm. Nothing. Dylan kept saying over and over that he didn't do anything. He said he didn't even touch her. She came into my room. Dad, she's the one who kept pushing stuff. I always told her no. I never even sat next to her if I could help it. I believed him 100% without a doubt, but none of that mattered. Once the words were out there, he assaulted me. It was like trying to put toothpaste back in the damn tube. Everyone was already treating him like he was guilty. The worst part, he knew it. I could see it in his face. He wasn't even angry, just broken, like he just accepted that no one would believe him. And me, I felt like I was losing my mind. I brought them into our lives. I invited this chaos into my house. I let this girl near my son. I trusted Sarah. I let them move in. I don't even know how to write this without my hands shaking. What Mia did didn't just mess up Dylan's week or month. It wrecked him. It messed up everything he'd been building for years. My son was one of those kids who had a real future. Like he had it figured out in a way most teenagers don't. But after that accusation, it all just crumbled, piece by piece. Let's start with the scholarship. That was the first thing to go. Dylan had been working his ass off for this one. It was for a private tech school. Super competitive. Barely anyone in our district even made it to the interview round. He got in full ride. That meant everything to him. He wanted to be a software engineer already building apps when he was like 14, while other kids were partying or screwing around on TikTok. Dylan was teaching himself Python and C++. He had a little notepad he'd keep by his desk with quotes and daily reminders like, "You're doing this for future you." And I used to tease him for it, but now I'd give anything to see that thing sitting there again. Anyway, the scholarship committee got wind of the accusation fast. I don't even know how. Probably the school sent something, or maybe someone tipped him off. I tried explaining that there was no evidence, that it wasn't proven, that it wasn't even official charges yet. But none of that mattered. They just said they couldn't, in good conscience, keep someone under investigation in the program. That was it. An email, no call. Just an email saying thanks, but no thanks. Dylan didn't say a word when I told him. He just nodded and went back to bed. That's when I started worrying something worse might happen. He was slipping into something I didn't know how to pull him out of. His friends were next. Before this, Dylan wasn't like super popular, but he had a close group. 4 or 5 guys he'd with, studied with, hung out with on weekends. They used to come over all the time. One of them, Tyler, practically lived at our place last summer. I made them frozen pizzas, and they'd stay up way too late watching dumb horror movies. After the accusation, ghosted one by one. First, it was no more texts. Then it was unfollowing him, then straight up blocking him. I asked him once if he wanted to call any of them, and he just said, "What's the point? They think I'm a freak now." That one word, freak, man, it hit me hard. I wanted to scream. I wanted to go to each of those kids' houses and shake their parents for raising such cowardly little punks. But deep down, I knew it wasn't just their fault. People get scared. They hear one ugly rumor, and suddenly someone they've known for years turns into a monster in their eyes. Doesn't even take proof, just takes gossip. But the worst part, the stuff online. Dylan didn't even have much of a social media presence. Just a barely used Instagram, a Discord account, and a few school group chats. But once the story started floating around school, it didn't take long for people to start twisting it. Kids he didn't even talk to suddenly had something to say. Some girl from a nearby school, still in the district, but not even in his building, posted his yearbook photo on her story with the caption, "Watch out for him," like he was some kind of threat. She didn't know him at all, just heard a watered down version of the story from a friend of a friend and jumped on it like it was her personal mission. Then one of the students in his building pulled an old video of Dylan from a science fair and slapped some dumb caption over it. Something like, "He gives creep vibes." It made its way through the school group chats, the student forum, even the DUMB community Facebook group some of the parents used. It didn't go viral or anything big, but it was everywhere around here. His name, his face. People were whispering about him in hallways, teachers giving him weird looks, kids typing stuff about him during lunch breaks, in the comments. Stuff like he always seemed off or wouldn't be surprised, even though none of them knew anything, just piling on because it was easy. Dylan saw all of it. He didn't say much, but I knew he was seeing it. His phone buzzed less and less, and I'd walk into his room and find him just staring at the ceiling. I asked him once if he wanted to delete his accounts, and he said, "Why bother? They already decided who I am." God, that sentence. They already decided who I am. He was 17, just a kid. My kid. And they had already erased every good thing about him and replaced it with something dark and disgusting. All because one girl couldn't handle rejection. I tried to get him into a therapist. He refused at first, said he didn't want to talk to anyone else. They'll just look at me like I'm lying too. And honestly, I didn't know what to say. I couldn't even promise he was wrong. School didn't help either. Even though it was just a suspension pending investigation, they treated him like he'd already been convicted. Teachers stopped replying to his emails. One of them, his English teacher, who used to say he was the best writer she'd seen in years. She told me he shouldn't expect to walk at graduation anymore, just in case. I begged Sarah to talk to me just once, to tell Mia to tell the truth, to sit down and listen to what her daughter was doing to my son. She ignored me completely, like we never existed, like all the holidays and weekends and late night talks never happened. And Mia, I saw her post some quote online about speaking your truth no matter who it hurts. Got a ton of likes, people calling her brave, inspiring, strong. Meanwhile, my son was withering away right in front of me, and the world kept spinning like nothing happened. After that first week, I stopped waiting around for things to get better. It hit me one morning. No one was going to fix this for us. Not the school, not Sarah, not some magical truth fairy. Everyone had already moved on. Everyone except me and Dylan. And I wasn't about to let my son drown in this without a fight. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Honestly, I've never dealt with anything like this. I'm just a regular dude. My biggest legal crisis before this was a parking ticket I forgot to pay. But I wasn't going to sit there and watch my kid get buried under a lie. So, I started digging. First thing I did was go back through everything. Dylan's texts, his call, logs, his school emails. Not in a creepy way. I asked his permission. He just handed me his phone and said, "Go ahead." That crushed me, by the way. He was so defeated. He didn't even care about privacy anymore. He had nothing to hide, and he wanted me to prove it. I started building a timeline, building a BA. Sounds dumb, but I needed to organize the chaos in my head. When did Mia start getting weird? When did she start showing signs of being obsessed with Dylan? When did she start turning on him? I jotted everything in a notebook. Dates, texts, screenshots, who said what when. If I was going to take this to anyone, I needed to look like I knew what I was talking about. And the more I looked, the more cracks I started to see in her story, or at least in how everything lined up. Then there were the messages. Mia had been sending Dylan texts for months. Flirty crap. Stuff like, "You looked cute today," or "I wish we could hang out, just us two." Nothing over the top, but definitely inappropriate considering he never replied, and she knew he wasn't into her. In fact, Dylan hadn't texted her back in weeks. Zero interaction. I showed all this to a lawyer I found through a friend. Guy named Chris. Not some big shot legal eagle, just a local defense guy. He looked through everything and nodded slowly the whole time. "This is helpful," he said. "But the problem is none of it proves anything. The system doesn't work on, I feel like this is shady. We need something solid." I asked him what solid looked like. He said, a confession, a witness, or major inconsistencies in her story that could be backed up by more than just our side. So, I started calling people. Reached out to the other girls Mia used to hang out with. Most ignored me. A few blocked me outright. Finally, one responded. Chloe, she was friends with both Mia and the girl. Dylan had been facepalming. I asked if she could talk, just 5 minutes. She agreed reluctantly. I met her at a park in broad daylight. I didn't want to scare anyone or make it weird. She looked nervous the whole time. Said she didn't want to get involved, but then told me something that made me clench my fists under the table. She said Mia had been obsessed with Dylan since they moved in, that she talked about him all the time, even when nobody brought him up, that she got mad if he ignored her, that she told her friends Dylan's mine, and if I can't have him, no one will. Those exact words. I asked if she'd be willing to write that down or talk to someone official. She shook her head, said she wasn't ready for the drama. I didn't blame her, honestly. She was just a kid too. I just said thanks and left it at that. But that conversation stuck with me. I also went back through the security footage at home. Luckily, I'd installed a door cam months ago, mostly because of some idiot kids who kept messing with our trash bins. I remembered that the day Mia claimed Dylan cornered her, he had left the house for almost 2 hours, right after she blew up at him, and the door cam proved it. Clear shot of him leaving and not coming back until well after. That totally broke the timeline she gave. I sent that to the lawyer. He said it was something, not everything, but worth keeping. Still, none of this was enough yet. Dylan was still suspended. The whispers hadn't stopped. He still didn't want to go outside. I caught him deleting his old photos from Instagram one night and nearly lost it. I told him not to erase himself because of lies. He just said, "It's easier if people don't see me anymore." Sarah was still MIA. No replies, no calls. I tried again. Sent an email this time, just listing what I'd found. I didn't accuse her of anything. I didn't yell. I just said, "Please, just look. Just talk to your daughter again, please." Nothing. At one point, I sat in my car outside her mom's place. Not to confront, I just wanted to see if Mia looked like she was suffering. She didn't. She was walking to the car with her mom, laughing, holding stopbucks. I couldn't stop staring. My son couldn't sleep and she was sipping Frappuccino like nothing happened. I went home and started writing everything down like a case file. Dates, evidence, witnesses, a damn spreadsheet. I wasn't going to let this lie become permanent. Dylan needed someone who actually gave a damn. That was going to be me, even if I had to go full Sherlock Holmes, and I wasn't going to stop until I got the truth. I didn't sleep much anymore. Just stayed up every night scrolling through old texts from Dylan, staring at the photos on my phone, his goofy grin, him with our dog, him at that robotics competition he crushed in 9th grade. I played them like a broken loop, trying to remember. His voice, I knew I was losing it. Every day he faded more, so I kept digging. I didn't care how many people I had to piss off or chase down. I wasn't stopping until the truth came out, even if no one else gave a damn. I wasn't going to let my son be remembered for something he didn't do. One night, I got a call from Chloe, the girl who used to be friends with Mia. I'd spoken to her before. She'd been scared to talk then, but now she sounded different, shaky, but serious. She said, "I can't keep this to myself anymore." I asked her what happened. She told me Mia had been bragging in private group chats, that she told a few friends Dylan deserved it for messing with her friend and making her feel like trash. She admitted in her own words that she made sure he wouldn't talk to her again. Chloe said she even had screenshots saved just in case. I asked her if she'd send them. She did. When I saw them, I just stared at my screen. There it was, plain as day. Mia literally typed, "Dylan's not so high and mighty now. Lol. That's what he gets for acting like I don't exist. That's not even the worst one." In another message, she said, "All I said was he touched me. I never said when. They just assumed everything else." It felt like my body shut down, like my brain knew what I was reading, but my chest couldn't keep up. I handed the phone to Dylan. He stared for a second, then just whispered, "Why didn't anyone believe me?" I didn't have an answer. I sent the screenshots to the lawyer. He called me 5 minutes later. "This changes everything," he said. "We can go after her for defamation. We can go after the school. There's a case here." But Dylan didn't care. He didn't say anything for hours, just laid on the couch, curled up under the same blanket he'd had since he was 12. I kept talking, saying things like, "We're getting through this now, and people will finally know the truth." But he just nodded. The next day, I drove to Sarah's. Mom's house. I didn't call first. I wasn't giving anyone a heads up. I had the screenshots printed. I had a folder. I had everything. I knocked on the door like I was about to punch through it. Sarah opened the door. She looked like hell. Messy bun, no makeup, eyes red. I didn't care. I said, "Get Mia now." She said, "She's not now." She called her. Mia came to the door with her phone in hand, looking confused, like she didn't expect to be part of anything. I didn't yell. I didn't even look at her. I just handed her the folder. "Read it," I said. She opened it. Her face changed slowly, like watching a kid caught cheating on a test. Her mouth opened like she was going to talk. Then she didn't. Sarah looked over her shoulder, reading it, too. "What is this?" I turned to her. "Proof that your daughter lied, that she ruined Dylan's life over some middle school jealousy crap. And now we're going public." Mia started crying. Not that fake cry either. Real tears. But I didn't feel bad. Not even a little. Sarah looked like someone had just kicked her in the throat. She sat down right on the step. "Oh my God." I just nodded. "Yeah, oh my God." She tried saying something, but I walked away. I didn't want her apology. I wanted her to sit with that guilt, the same way Dylan had to sit with the hate. I went straight to the school that afternoon, showed them everything. The principal said they'd review the situation immediately. I said, "Too late. The damage is done. You people hung my son out to dry without even asking questions." My lawyer started prepping a formal case. He was ready to go nuclear. Defamation, harassment, wrongful disciplinary action, all of it. He said this could get big, especially if media got involved. But Dylan never got to see any of that. The next morning, I found his door locked. That wasn't like him. I knocked, nothing. Called his phone. It rang from inside the room. I broke the door. He was gone. Not dramatic, not loud, just quiet, peaceful, even like he'd been carrying a mountain and finally set it down. There was another note. I saw the screenshots. "Thank you for fighting for me, but I'm too tired. I just want to rest now." He ended it with, "I love you, Dad." I sat there on the floor holding him. I begged him to wake up. I said I was sorry, over and over. I didn't even know what I was apologizing for anymore, just everything. An hour later, the EMTs came. Then the coroner, then the police, then silence. The truth came out, but it didn't bring him back. Mia admitted it to the school. Her friends turned on her. Chloe showed the screenshots to everyone. Some of Dylan's old classmates started posting stuff like, "We didn't know, and he didn't deserve that." But none of it mattered. They waited too long. Now I visit a grave instead of a bedroom. Now I sit in a kitchen with one less plate. Now I hear silence where there used to be typing and snarky jokes and late-night snack raids. The truth finally came out, but Dylan's already gone. People keep saying, "At least the truth came out." Like that's supposed to mean something now. Like I should feel some kind of relief knowing everyone finally knows Dylan was innocent. You know what the truth doesn't do? It doesn't bring my son back. It doesn't make the bed he used to sleep in any less empty. It doesn't stop the silence that's hanging in every room of this house. doesn't undo the way people treated him like trash. The second they heard the word assault, the truth showed up too late, and now all I've got is a grave. The school sent a formal apology, called it a policy failure, said they'll review their disciplinary process in the future. Like that helps me now. Like I'm supposed to be. Grateful they'll try harder next time. I got that email while I was eating dinner alone, staring at Dylan's untouched chair. Mia, she got a short suspension. She's back in school now, but from what I've heard, she's not really talking to anyone. Doesn't sit with her old group. Keeps her head down. No more loud laughing in the halls or posting online like she used to. It's like she knows. Like it finally hit her what she did, or at least part of it. And Sarah, she sent flowers. I threw them in the trash. We tried suing. Yay, the school lawyered up. Mia's family pushed back. Their attorney said they were emotionally overwhelmed. The judge tossed half the case before we even started. Told us monetary compensation won't ease your grief. No, man, I wasn't doing this for money. I wanted someone, anyone, to be held accountable, but no one was. Everyone just moved on. Dylan's gone, 17. He was supposed to graduate this year. I found the cap and gown form he never filled out sitting in his desk, still sealed. His laptop still opens to that coding project he was obsessed with. A stupid robot cat that could meow through text-to-speech. I used to laugh when it talked back to him. Now I can't even look at it. I went to therapy, tried talking about it. The lady meant well, but all she had were buzzwords. Process your trauma. Give yourself space. There's no space wide enough for this, so I quit. People keep asking if I'm okay. I'm not. I don't think I ever will be again. I wake up, go to work, come home, sleep, repeat. I eat because I have to. I breathe because my body won't stop. But I don't live anymore. Not really. And the worst part, no one paid. Not the school, not the kids who spread rumors. Not the girl who lied. Not the ones who watched it happen and stayed quiet. Nobody. You want to know what killed Dylan? Yeah, Mia lied. That was the spark. But the silence after that, the way people turned their backs on him, that's what lit the fire. That's what buried him. The system let him fall, and so did everyone else. The truth came out, but it was too late. All I can do now is write this. Tell his story. Make people see what happens when you blindly believe the first accusation without even asking a damn question. And maybe, just maybe, someone will remember Dylan. Not the rumors, not the lie, but the real kid. The one who loved computers, who stayed up too late laughing at dumb memes, who called me old man even though I'm not even 40. He deserved better. He still does. Update. My son Dylan was falsely accused by my ex's daughter. She's been reaching out again. It's been a while since I posted about what happened with Dylan. I didn't expect to say anything else. After everything went down, the false accusation, the fallout, losing him, I figured that was it. Nothing left to add, just grief and empty rooms. But lately, something unexpected's been happening. Sarah, my ex, has been reaching out again. At first, it was just one message. Something short like, I know you probably won't read this, but I need to say something. I ignored it, didn't delete it, just let it sit there like a rock in my inbox. Then another came through longer, then a voicemail. She's been trying to talk to me. According to her, things haven't been easy since the truth came out. She said she's been carrying a lot of guilt. Said she knows she didn't do right by me or Dylan. That she didn't listen when it mattered most. She admitted that even after Mia confessed, she still couldn't fully face what had happened. Not right away. Said it took her months to stop trying. To justify it to herself, I wasn't expecting that. I don't know if I believe everything she says. Not yet, but she sounded different. Wrecked. Not just sorry because of how it affected her, but sorry because she finally realized what she let happen. She told me something else, too. Mia's not doing well. Apparently, she's been having dreams about Dylan. Constant ones. Sarah didn't go into much detail, but she said Mia wakes up crying some nights. Says she sees Dylan in her dreams, just standing there. Not yelling, not chasing, just looking at her. Says she can't sleep, can't concentrate, that it's like she's being haunted. I didn't know how to respond to that. I still don't. Sarah said she's gotten Mia into therapy. Real therapy this time, not some school counselor checking. She didn't ask me for forgiveness, just said she wanted me to know they're trying to do the right thing now. Trying, even if it's late. And then she told me something I never expected. She wants to hold a memorial for Dylan. Not some huge thing, just something small. Maybe at the school auditorium or the park he used to go to. She says she doesn't want to speak or pretend to be part of it. She just wants to help put it together. Said she wants people to remember him the way he really was, not how rumors made him out to be. She offered to handle the details, venue, setup, everything. Told me she'd step aside if I didn't want her involved, but she hoped I'd at least think about it. And the truth is, I have. I don't know if I want her there or Mia. I don't know if I can even stand the thought of being in the same space as them right now. But I keep thinking about Dylan, how quiet it was when he left, how he didn't get a prom or a graduation, how no one ever said goodbye the way he deserved. Maybe this could be that. Maybe this is more for him than for any of us still here. I haven't decided yet, but I'm thinking about it. Anyway, I just wanted to share that since some of you followed the story from the start. No dramatic closure, no perfect ending, just people trying to pick up whatever's left and maybe make something a little less broken out of it. I'll let you know if the memorial happens. And if it does, I'll make damn sure they remember who Dylan really was, not who people said he was. Thanks for reading.